Hi guys, Cornell's back. I was sick yesterday, so I couldn't read. I hope you can continue reading. So today we are going to read Deuteronomy 3-7, Psalm 90, and Proverbs 2. Let's get started. Deuteronomy 3-7. Next we turned and went up along the road toward Bashan. Og marched out with his whole army. They fought against us at Edrei. Og was the king of Bashan. The Lord said to me, "Do not be afraid of Og. I have handed him over to you. I have also handed over his whole army and his land. Do to him what you did to Sihon." Sihon was the Amorite king who ruled in Heshbon. So the Lord our God also handed Og, the king of Bashan, and his whole army over to us. We struck them down. We didn't leave any of them alive. At that time we took all his cities. There were 60 of them. We took the whole area of Argob. That was Og's kingdom in Bashan. All the cities had high walls around them. The city gates were made secure with heavy metal bars. There were also large numbers of villages that didn't have large walls. We completely destroyed them. We did to them just as we had done to Sihon, the king of Heshbon. We destroyed all their cities. We destroyed the men, women, and children, though we kept for ourselves the livestock and everything else we took from their cities. So at that time we took the territory east of the Jordan River. We captured it from those two Amorite kings. The territory goes all the way from the Arnon River Valley to Mount Hermon. Hermon is called Syrian by the people of Sidon. The Amorites call it Sinir. We captured all the towns on the high plains. We took the whole land of Gilead. And we captured the whole land of Bashan, as far away as Salcah and Edrei. Those were towns that belonged to Og's kingdom in Bashan. Og, the king of Bashan, was the only Rephaite left. His bed was decorated with iron. It was more than 13 feet long and 6 feet wide. It is still in the Ammonite city of Rabbah. I divided up the land we took over at that time. I gave the tribes of Reuben and Gad the territory north of Aroer by the Arnon River Valley. It includes half of the hill country of Gilead together with its towns. I gave the rest of Gilead to half of the tribe of Manasseh. I also gave them the whole land of Bashan, the kingdom of Og. The whole area of Argob in Bashan used to be known as the land of the Rephaites. Jair took the whole area of Argob. He was from the family line of Manasseh. Argob goes all the way to the border of the people of Geshur in Makkah. It was named after Jair. So Bashan is called Havroth Jair to this very day. I gave Gilead to Machir, but I gave to the tribes of Reuben and Gad the territory that reaches from Gilead down to the Arnon River Valley. It goes all the way to the Jabbok River. The Jabbok is the northern border of Ammon. The middle of the Arnon River Valley is its southern border. The western border of Reuben and Gad is the Jordan River in the Arabah Valley. It reaches from the Sea of Galilee to the Dead Sea. It runs below the slopes of Pisgah. Here's the command I gave at that time to the tribes of Reuben and Gad, and half of the tribe of Manasseh. I said, "The Lord your God has given you this land as your very own. But all you strong men must be prepared for battle. They must cross over the head of the rest of the Israelites. But your wives and children can stay in the towns I've given you. You can keep your livestock there too. I know you have a lot of livestock. The Lord has given you peace and rest. Then let your families and livestock stay in those towns until the Lord gives peace and rest to the other tribes. And let your families stay until the other tribes have taken over the land the Lord your God is giving them. That land is across the Jordan River. After that, each of you may go back to the land I've given you as your very own. At that time, I gave Joshua a command. I said, your eyes have seen everything the Lord your God has done to Sihon and Og. You'll do the same thing to all the kingdoms in the land where you are going. Don't be afraid of them. The Lord your God himself will fight for you. At that time, I made my appeal to the Lord. I said, Lord and King, you have begun to show me how great you are. You have shown me how strong your hand is. You do great works and mighty acts. There isn't any God in heaven or on earth who can do what you do. Let me go across the Jordan River. Let me see the good land beyond it. I want to see that fine hill country and Lebanon. But the Lord was angry with me because of what you did. You wouldn't listen to me. That is enough. The Lord said, do not speak to me anymore about this matter. Go up to the highest slopes of Pisgah. Look west and north and south and east. Look at the land with your own eyes. But you are not going to go across the Jordan River. So appoint Joshua as the new leader. Help him to be brave. Give him hope and strength. He'll take his people across the Jordan. He will see the land, but he will lead them into it to take it as their own. So we stayed in the valley near Beth Peor. Chapter 4. Now Israel, listen to the rules and laws I'm going to teach you. Obey them and you'll live. You'll go in and take over the land. The Lord was the God of your people long ago. He's giving you the land. Don't add to what I'm commanding you. Don't subtract from it either. Instead, obey the commands of the Lord your God that I'm giving you. Your own eyes saw what the Lord your God did at Baal Peor. He destroyed every one of your people who worshipped the Baal that was worshipped at Peor. But all of you who remained alive, who remained true to the Lord your God, are still alive today. I have taught you rules and laws, just as the Lord my God commanded me. Obey them in the land you are entering to take as your very own. Be careful to keep them. That will show the nations how wise and understanding you are. They will hear about all these rules. They'll say, that great nation certainly has wise and understanding people. The Lord our God is near us every time we pray to him. What other nation is great enough to have its gods that close to them? I'm giving you the laws of the Lord today. What other nation is great enough to have rules and laws as fair as these? Don't be careless. Instead, be very careful. Don't forget the things your eyes have seen. As long as you live, don't let them slip from your mind. Teach them to your children and their children after them. Remember the day you stood at Mount Horeb. The Lord your God was there. He said to me, bring the people to me to hear my words. I want them to learn to have respect for me as long as they live in the land. I want them to teach my words to their children. You came near and stood at the foot of the mountain. It blazed with fire that reached as high as the very heavens. There were black clouds and deep darkness. Then the Lord spoke to you out of the fire. You heard the sound of his words, but you didn't see any shape or form. You only heard a voice. He announced his covenant to you. That covenant is the 10 Commandments. He commanded you to obey them. Then he wrote them down on 2 stone tablets. At that time, the Lord directed me to teach you his rules and laws. You must obey them in the land you are crossing the Jordan River to take as your own. The Lord spoke to you at Mount Horeb out of the fire, but you didn't see any shape or form that day. So be very careful. Make sure you don't commit a horrible sin. Don't make for yourselves a statue of a god. Don't make a god that looks like a man or woman or anything else. Don't make one that looks like any animal on earth or any bird that flies in the sky. Don't make a statue that looks like any creature that moves along the ground or any fish that swims in the water. When you look up at the heavens, you'll see the sun and moon, and you will see huge numbers of stars. Don't let anyone tempt you to bow down to the sun, moon, and stars. Don't worship things the Lord your God has provided for all the nations of the earth, on earth. Egypt was like a furnace that melts iron down and makes it pure. But the Lord took you and brought you out of Egypt. He wanted you to be his very own people. And that's exactly what you are. Mum, what time is it? I feel like a sneeze. Anyway, the Lord spoke to you at Mount Horeb out of the fire, but you didn't see any shape or form that day. So be very careful. Make sure you don't commit a statue. Don't commit a horrible sin. Don't make for yourselves a statue of a god. Don't make a god that looks like a man or a woman or anything else. Don't make one that looks like any animal on earth or any bird that flies in the sky. Don't make a statue that looks like any creature that moves along the ground or any fish that swims in the water. When you look up at the heavens, you'll see the sun and moon, and you will see huge numbers of stars. Don't let anyone tempt you to bow down to the sun, moon, or stars. Don't worship things the Lord your God has provided for all the nations on earth. Egypt was like a furnace that melts iron down and makes it pure. But the Lord took you and brought you out of Egypt. He wanted you to be his very own people. And that's exactly what you are. The Lord was angry with me because of what you did. He promised that he would never let me go across the Jordan River. He promised that I would never enter that good land. It's the land the Lord your God is giving you as your own. I'll die here in this land. I won't go across the Jordan, but you are about to cross over it. You take that good land as your own. Be careful. Don't forget the covenant the Lord your God made with you. Don't make for yourselves a statue of any god at all. He has told you not to, so don't do it. The Lord your God is like a fire that burns everything up. He wants you to worship only him. So don't make a statue of a god. Don't commit that horrible sin. Don't do it even after you have had children and grandchildren. Don't do it even after you have lived in the land a long time. If you do, that will be an evil thing in the sight of the Lord your God. You will make him angry. Today I'm calling out to the heavens and the earth to be witnesses against you. Suppose you do these things, then you will quickly die in the land you are going across the Jordan River to take over. You won't live there very long. You will certainly be destroyed. The Lord will drive you out of your land. He will scatter you among the nations. Only a few of you will remain alive there. There few of you will worship gods that men have made out of wood and stone. Those gods can't see, hear, eat, or smell. Perhaps while you are there, you'll seek the Lord your God. You'll find him if you seek him with all your heart and with all your soul. All the things I've told you about might happen to you, and you will be in trouble. But later you'll return to the Lord your God. You will obey him. The Lord your God is tender and loving. He won't leave you or destroy you. He won't forget the covenant he made with your people of long ago. He gave his word when he made it. Ask now about the days of long ago. Find out what happened long before your time. Ask about what has happened since the time God created human beings on the earth. Ask from one end of the world to the other. Has anything as great as this ever happened? Has anything like it ever been heard of? You heard the voice of God speaking out of fire, and you lived. Has that happened to any other people? Has any God tried to take one nation and another to be his own? Has any God done it by testing his people? Has any God done it with signs and amazing deeds, or with war? Has any God reached out his mighty hand and powerful arm? Or has any God shown his people his great and wonderful acts? The Lord your God did all those things for you in Egypt. With your very own eyes you saw him do them. The Lord showed you those things so that you might know he is God. There is no other God except him. From heaven he made you hear his voice. He wanted to teach you. On earth he showed you his great fire. You heard his words coming out of the fire. He loved your people of long ago. He chose their children after them. So he brought you out of Egypt. He used his great strength to do it. He drove out nations to make room for you. They were greater and stronger than you are. He will bring you into their land. He wants to give it to you as your very own. The whole land is as good as yours right now. The Lord is God in heaven above and on the earth below. Today you must agree with that and take it to heart. There is no other God. I'm giving you his rules and commands today. Obey them. Then things will go well with you and your children after you. You will live a long time in the land. The Lord your God is giving you the land for all time to come. Then Moses set apart 3 cities east of the Jordan River. Suppose someone killed a person they didn't hate and without meaning to do it. That person could run to one of those cities and stay alive. Here are the names of the cities. Bezer was for the people of Reuben. It was in the high plains in the desert. Ramoth was for the people of Gad. It was in Gilead. Golan was for the people of Manasseh. It was in Bashan. Here's the law Moses gave the Israelites. Here are its terms, rules, and laws. Moses gave them to the people when they came out of Egypt. They were now east of the Jordan River in the valley near Beth Peor. They were in the land of Sihon, the king of the Amorites. He ruled in Heshbon. But Moses and the Israelites won the battle over him after we came out of Egypt. They captured his land and made it their own. They also took the land of Og, the king of Bashan. Sihon and Og were the 2 Amorite kings east of the Jordan River. Their land reached from Aroer on the rim of the Arnon River Valley to Mount Hermon. It included the whole Araba Valley east of the Jordan. It included land all the way to the Dead Sea below the slopes of Pisgah. Chapter 5. Moses sent for all the Israelites. Here's what he said to them. Israel, listen to me. Here are the rules and laws I'm announcing to you today. Leave them well. Learn them well. Be sure to obey them. The Lord our God made a covenant with us at Mount Horeb. He didn't make it only with our people of long ago. He also made it with us. In fact, he made it with all of us who are alive here today. The Lord spoke to you face to face. His voice came out of the fire on the mountain. At that time I stood between the Lord and you. I announced it to you, the Lord's message. I did it because you were afraid of the fire. You didn't go up the mountain. The Lord said, I am the Lord your God. I brought you out of Egypt. That is the land where you were slaves. Do not put any other gods in place of me. Do not make statues of gods that look like anything in the sky, or on the earth, or in the waters. Do not bow down to them or worship them. I am the Lord your God. I want you to worship only me. I cause the sins of the parents to affect their children. I'll cause the sins of those who hate me to affect even their grandchildren and great-grandchildren. But for all time to come, I show love for all those who love me and keep my commandments. Do not misuse the name of the Lord your God. The Lord will find guilty anyone who misuses his name. Keep the Sabbath day holy. Do this just as the Lord your God has commanded you. Do all your work in 6 days. But the 7th day is a Sabbath to honor the Lord your God. Do not do any work on that day. The same command applies to your sons and daughters, your male and female servants, your oxen, your donkeys, and your other animals. It also applies to any outsiders who live in your towns. I want your male and female servants to rest, just as you do. Remember that you were slaves in Egypt. The Lord your God reached out his mighty hand and powerful arm and brought you out of there. So the Lord your God has commanded you to keep the Sabbath day holy. Honor your father and mother, just as the Lord your God has commanded you. Then you will live a long time in the land he has given you, and things will go well with you there. Do not murder. Do not commit adultery. Do not steal. Do not be a false witness against your neighbor. Do not want to have your neighbor's wife. Do not desire anything your neighbor owns. Do not desire to have your neighbor's house or land, male or female servant, ox or donkey. These are the commandments the Lord announced in a loud voice to your whole community. He gave them to you there on the mountain. He spoke out of the fire, cloud, and deep darkness. He didn't add anything else. Then he wrote the commandments on 2 tablets, and he gave them to me. The mountain was blazing with fire. You heard the voice coming out of the darkness. So your elders and all the leaders of your tribes came to me. We said, The Lord our God has shown us his glory and majesty. We have heard his voice coming out of the fire. Today we have seen that a person can still stay alive, even if God speaks with him. But why should we die? This great fire will burn us up. We'll die if we hear the voice of the Lord again. We have heard the voice of the living God. We have heard him speaking out of the fire. Has any other human being ever heard him speak like that and stayed alive? Go near and listen to everything the Lord our God says. Then tell us what he tells you. You'll listen and obey. The Lord heard you when you spoke to me. He said to me, I have heard what these people said to you. Everything they said was good, but I wish they would always have respect for me in their hearts. I wish they would always obey all my commands. Then things would go well with them and their children forever. Go and tell them to return to their tents, but you stay here with me. Then I will give you all my commands, rules, and laws. You must teach the people to obey them in the land I am giving them as their very own. So be careful to do what the Lord your God has commanded you. Don't turn away from his commands to the right or the left. Live exactly as the Lord your God has commanded you to live. Then you will enjoy life in the land you will soon own. Things will go well with you there. You'll live there for a long time. Chapter 6. The Lord your God has directed me to teach you his commands, rules, and laws. Obey them in the land you will take over when you go across the Jordan River. And then you, your children, and their children after them will honor the Lord your God as long as you live. Obey all his rules and commands I'm giving you. If you do, you will enjoy long life. Israel, listen to me. Make sure you obey me. Then things will go well with you. The number of your people will increase greatly in a land that is plenty of milk and honey. That's what the Lord, the God of your parents, promised you. Israel, listen to me. The Lord is our God. The Lord is the one and only God. Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul. Love him with all your strength. The commandments I give you today must be in your heart. Make sure your children learn them. Talk about them when you are at home. Talk about them when you walk along the road. Speak about them when you go to bed. And speak about them when you get up. Write them down and tie them on your hands as a reminder. Also tie them on your foreheads. Write them on the doorframes of your houses. Also write them on your gates. The Lord your God will bring you into the land of Canaan. He gave his word. He promised he would give the land to your fathers, to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The land has large, wealthy cities you didn't build. It has houses filled with all kinds of good things you didn't provide. The land has wells you didn't dig, and it has vineyards and groves of olive trees you didn't plant. You will have plenty to eat, but be careful that you don't forget the Lord. Remember that He brought you out of Egypt. That's the land where you were slaves. Worship the Lord your God. He is the only one you should serve. When you make promises, do so in His name. Don't serve the gods of the nations around you. The Lord your God is among you. He wants you to worship only Him. If you worship other gods, God will be very angry with you, and He will destroy you from the face of the land. Don't test the Lord your God as you did as Massa. Be sure to obey the Lord's commands. Obey the terms and rules He has given you. Do what is right and good in the Lord's eyes. Then things will go well with you. You will go in and take over the land. It's the good land the Lord promised to your people of long ago. You will drive out all your enemies to make room for you. That's what the Lord said would happen. Later on, your child might ask you, what is the meaning of the terms, rules, and laws the Lord our God has commanded you to obey? If they do ask you, tell them, we were Pharaoh's slaves in Egypt, but the Lord used His mighty hand to bring us out of Egypt. With our own signs we saw the Lord send amazing signs. They were great and terrible. He sent them on Egypt and Pharaoh and everyone in his house. But the Lord brought us out of Egypt. He planned to bring us into the land of Canaan and give it to us. It's the land He promised to our people of long ago. The Lord our God commanded us to obey all His rules. He commanded us to honor Him. If we do, we will always succeed and be kept alive. That's what is happening today. We must make sure we obey the whole law in the sight of the Lord our God. That's what He has commanded us to do. If we obey His law, we'll be doing what He requires of us. Chapter 7. The Lord our God will bring you into the land. You are going to enter it and take it as your own. He will drive out many nations to make room for you. He will drive out the Hittites, Girgashites, Amorites, Canaanites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites. Those 7 nations are larger and stronger than you are. The Lord your God will hand them over to win. To you. You will win the battle over them. You must completely destroy them. Don't make a peace treaty with them. Don't show them any mercy. Don't marry any of their people. And don't give your daughters to their sons. And don't take their daughters for your sons. If you do, those people will turn your children away from serving the Lord. Then your children will serve other gods. The Lord will be very angry with you. He will quickly destroy you. So here's what you must do to those people. Break down their altars. Smash their sacred stones. Cut down the poles they used to worship the female god named Asherah. Burn the statues of their gods in the fire. You are a holy nation. The Lord your God has set you apart for Himself. He has chosen you to be His special treasure. He chose you out of all the nations on the face of the earth to be His people. The Lord chose you because He loved you very much. He didn't choose you because He had more people than other nations. In fact, He had the smallest number of all. The Lord chose you because He loved you. He wanted to keep the promise He had made to your people of long ago. That's why He used His mighty hand to bring you out of Egypt. He brought you back from the land where you were slaves. He set you free from the power of Pharaoh, the king of Egypt. So I want to realize that the Lord your God is God. He's the faithful God. He keeps His covenant for all time to come. He keeps it with those who love Him and obey His commandments. He shows them His love, but He will pay back those who hate Him. He will destroy them. He will quickly pay back those who hate Him. So be careful to obey the commands, rules, and laws I'm giving you today. Pay attention to the laws of the Lord your God. Be careful to obey them. Then he'll keep his covenant of love with you. That's what he promised to your people long ago. The Lord will love you and bless you. He'll cause there to be many of you. He'll give you many children. He'll bless the crops of your land. He'll give you plenty of grain, olive oil, and fresh wine. He'll bless your flock. He'll bless your herds with many calves. He'll bless your flocks with many lambs. He'll do all these things for you in the land of Canaan. It's the land you promised your people of long ago that he would give you. He will bless you more than any other nation. All your men and women will have children. All your livestock will have little ones. The Lord will keep you from getting sick. He won't send on you any of the horrible sicknesses you saw all around you in Egypt. But he will send them on everyone who hates you. You must destroy all the nations the Lord your God hands over to you. Don't feel sorry for them. Don't serve their gods. If you do, they will be a trap for you. You might say to yourselves, these nations are stronger than we are. How can we drive them out? But don't be afraid of them. Be sure to remember what the Lord your God did to Pharaoh and all the Egyptians. With your own eyes you saw what the Lord did to them. You saw the signs and amazing things he did. You reached out his mighty hand and powerful arm. The Lord your God used all those things to bring you out. You are now afraid of the nations that are in the land the Lord promised you. But the Lord your God will do to them the same things he did to Egypt. The Lord your God will also send hornets among those nations. Some of the people left alive will hide from you, but even they will die. So don't be terrified of them. The Lord your God is with you. He is a great and wonderful God. The Lord your God will drive out those nations to make room for you. But he will do it little by little. You won't be allowed to get rid of them all at once. If you did, wild animals would multiply all around you. But the Lord your God will hand those nations over to you. He'll throw them into a panic until they are destroyed. He will hand their kings over to you. He will wipe out their names from the earth. No one will be able to stand up against you. You will destroy them. Burn the statues of their gods in the fire. Don't wish for silver and gold on those statues. Don't take it for yourselves. If you do, it will be a trap for you. The Lord your God hates it. Don't bring anything he hates into your house. If you do, you'll be completely destroyed along with it. So hate it with all your heart. It is set apart to be destroyed. Proverbs 2. My son, accept my words. Store my commands inside you. Let your ears listen to wisdom. Apply your heart to understanding. Cry out for the ability to be wise. Cry out for understanding. Look for it as you would look for silver. Search for it as you would search for hidden treasure. Then you'll understand how to have respect for the Lord. You'll find out how to know God. The Lord gives wisdom, knowledge and understanding come from his mouth. He stores up success for honest people. He is like a shield to those who live without blame. He guards the path of those who are honest. He watches over the way of his faithful ones. You'll understand what is right and honest and fair. You'll understand the right way to live. Your heart will become wise. Your mind will delight in knowledge. Good sense will keep you safe. Understanding will guard you. Wisdom will save you from the ways of evil men. It will save you from men who twist their words. Men like that have left the straight path to walk in dark ways. They take delight in doing what is wrong. They take joy in twisting everything around. Their paths are crooked. Their ways are not straight. Wisdom will save you from a woman who commits adultery. It will save you from a sinful woman and his tempting words. She has left the marriage she married when she was young. She has broken the promise she made in front of God. Surely her house leads down to death. Her paths lead to the spirits of the dead. No one who goes to her comes back or reaches the paths of life. You'll walk in the ways of good people. You'll follow the paths of those who do right. Honest people will live in the land. Those who are without blame will remain in it. But sinners will be cut off from the land. Those who are unfaithful will be torn away from it. Psalm 90. Lord, from the very beginning you have been like a home to us. Before you created the whole world and the mountains were made, from the beginning to the end you are God. You turn human beings back to dust. You say to them, return to dust. To you 1,000 years are like a day that has just gone by. They are like a few hours of the night. Yet you sweep people away and they die. They are like new grass that grows in the morning. In the morning it springs up new, but by evening it's all dried up. Your anger destroys us. Your burning anger terrifies us. You have put our sins right in front of you. You have placed our secret sins where you can see them clearly. You have been angry with us all of our days. We groan as we come to the end of our lives. We live to be about 70, or we may live to 80 if we stay healthy. But even our best days are filled with trouble and sorrow. The years quickly pass, and we are gone. If only we knew the power of your anger. It's as great as the respect we should have for you. Teach us to realize how short our lives are. Then our hearts will become wise. Lord, please stop punishing us. How long will you keep it up? Be kind to us. Satisfy us with your faithful love every morning. Then we can sing for joy and be glad all our days. Make us glad for as many days as you have made us suffer. Give us joy for as many years as we have trouble. Show us your mighty acts. Let our children see your glorious power. May the Lord our God always be pleased with us. Lord, make what we do succeed. Please make what we do succeed. Now that's done, I shall now do the Lord's Prayer. Please bow your heads. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread. Forgive us our debts as we have also forgiven our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. For yours is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. See you tomorrow. Bye.